For decades, Carlos Santana kept hidden a story that was as dark and tumultuous as the music that made him a legend. Behind the electric guitar riffs and the vibrant Latin rhythms that conquered Woodstock, there was a man battling deep pain, heartache, and despair. 7 times in his life, Santana found himself at a crossroads, contemplating ending it all. Yet for all the world to see, he was the rock star, the icon, the man who played in front of thousands of adoring fans. Now, at 77 years old, Santana is finally opening up about those darkest moments, unveiling the struggles and the truth that shaped not only his life, but also his music and soul. This is the untold story of Carlos Santana. Born in 1947 in the small town of Outlan de Navarro, Jalisco, Mexico, Carlos Santana's early life was filled with music and hardship. His father, a violinist in mariachi bands, introduced him to the world of music at a very young age. But it wasn't just his father's influence that would shape Santana's future. When Carlos was 8 years old, his family moved to Tijuana, a transition that would prove life-changing. It was in Tijuana that Santana was introduced to the blues and rock music that would later become his signature sound. He was captivated by a rock band called the TJs, who played in the park, sparking a passion in him that would never fade. However, life in Tijuana wasn't all music and dreams. For 2 years, Santana endured a terrifying and traumatic experience that would haunt him for many years. An American man, whom he later described as a monster, abused him in ways no child should ever suffer. This man would frequently take Carlos across the border, buying him toys and clothes to keep him quiet. But it all came to a head when the man struck Santana after he had been caught looking at a woman through a window. That moment of abuse left deep scars on the young boy, guilt-ridden and trapped in a cycle of shame and fear. The emotional toll from this experience would stay with Santana for years, tainting his early years of music and performance. By the age of 15, Santana was already playing guitar in the roughest of environments, strip clubs in Tijuana. It was a world far removed from the warmth of family and security. The experiences he witnessed in those clubs were jarring. One memory that stuck with him was of a police officer abusing a woman who worked there. Yet, in that tough, gritty atmosphere, Santana began to hone his unique musical style, a fusion of Latin rhythms with the blues and rock he had fallen in love with. It was there, amidst the chaos, that he would start creating the sound that would eventually make him a global star. The early years in San Francisco were equally tough. Moving to the city to pursue his music, Santana found himself living in a cramped, run-down apartment in the Mission District. The space was shared with fellow musicians, but it was far from glamorous. There were no beds, just a floor where Santana slept, often cold and exhausted after long hours of washing dishes to make ends meet. With little money, he lived on a diet of rice and beans, scraping by with broken guitar strings or whatever scraps he could find to continue his passion for music. In these early years, Santana was barely getting by. His dream of one day buying a new Stratocaster guitar and papers for immigration seemed distant. But it wasn't just the struggle for survival that broke him. It was betrayal from the one person he trusted most. One day, he learned that his mother had taken the $300 he had saved up over time and used it to pay for his sister's dental work. When he confronted her, she gave him only $20 back. The hurt from this betrayal led Santana to leave home, taking the meager $20 with him, and return to Tijuana. He continued playing in the strip clubs to survive, but it was a hard existence. Though these years were marred by hardship and personal suffering, they were also crucial in shaping the man and the musician Santana would become. Despite the poverty, the abuse, and the isolation, Santana's love for music never wavered. In fact, these struggles became the backbone of his artistry. They instilled in him a sense of resilience that would carry him through the decades of fame that followed. The pain, the betrayal, and the fight for survival were all embedded in the soul of his music. As the years passed, Santana's persistence paid off. The same man who once played on broken guitar strings in a tiny, cold apartment would go on to become one of the most influential and beloved musicians in history. His fusion of Latin rhythms, rock and blues, coupled with his raw, emotional performances, captivated audiences around the world. But even as he achieved the heights of success, the shadows of his past continued to shape him. Santana's music, while celebrated for its energy and joy, carried the weight of the pain he had experienced. Now, at the age of 77, Carlos Santana is sharing his story, not just as a rock legend, but as a man who has faced adversity and come out the other side with strength and grace. He no longer feels the need to hide the darkness of his past, the struggles he endured, and the emotional turmoil that accompanied his rise to fame. Instead, Santana is pulling back the curtain on the personal challenges that shaped his life, offering fans a glimpse into the real person behind the iconic musician. Santana's revelation is not just about the past, it's about healing, redemption, and embracing the power of vulnerability. The man who once hid his pain is now opening up, using his story to inspire others to find strength in their own struggles. The journey from his traumatic childhood in Tijuana to the international stage is one of resilience, but it's also one of healing, both through his music and his willingness to face his own demons. As Santana continues to perform, still captivating audiences with his guitar playing and soulful music, he carries with him the lessons learned from a lifetime of hardship. His story is a testament to the power of perseverance, the importance of music as a form of healing, and the necessity of facing the past in order to truly move forward. The truth behind Carlos Santana's life is no longer a hidden secret. It is the very foundation upon which his legacy stands, and it is as powerful as the music he continues to create. Carlos Santana's early years in San Francisco were as humble as they were formative. The aspiring guitarist played music on the streets of the city, performing for hours in places like Fisherman's Wharf and Union Square. On some days, he earned little more than $5, struggling to make a living. Yet, despite the financial hardship, Santana's exposure to various musical genres like jazz and folk began to shape the sound that would later define his career. These street performances helped him hone his craft, and little by little, he began to gain the attention of people passing by. The pivotal moment came in 1966, when Santana formed his first band, the Santana Blues Band. The formation of the band was a fortunate stroke of fate, a chance encounter that led to a life-changing partnership. Santana met Tom Fraser while working at a drive-in, and Fraser introduced him to Greg Rowley, a talented keyboard player. Together, they brought in other musicians, including David Brown on bass and Marcus Malone on percussion. The band eventually took on the simple yet unforgettable name Santana, suggested by percussionist Michael Carabello. Little did they know at the time this was the beginning of something monumental. Santana's rise to fame seemed almost destined, propelled by another fortuitous turn of events. In 1969, the band's big break came courtesy of famed concert promoter Bill Graham. Graham, a key figure in San Francisco's music scene, was instrumental in organizing the Woodstock Festival that summer. He saw potential in Santana, and though the band wasn't widely known, he made sure that they secured a spot at the iconic event. At the time, Santana was still an unknown act, having only played a few local gigs in San Francisco and Tijuana. But Graham's belief in the band gave them the opportunity of a lifetime. Santana was given a 45-minute slot on August 16, 1969, during the afternoon. They were placed between two big names, the Grateful Dead and Creedence Clearwater Revival, making their inclusion all the more remarkable. But what made their performance even more legendary was Carlos Santana's state of mind when he took the stage. At just 22 years old, Santana arrived at Woodstock feeling unprepared. After flying in by helicopter, Santana assumed that they wouldn't be playing until late into the night, perhaps around 3 a.m. However, the schedule changed, and the band was called to perform much sooner than expected. In his attempt to calm his nerves, Santana was introduced to a strong hallucinogen, possibly peyote or mescaline, by Jerry Garcia of the Grateful Dead. The drug took effect quickly, and by the time Santana took the stage, he was deep into a vivid trip. As he stood before the massive crowd, his vision began to distort. He saw his guitar neck moving like a snake. In an effort to remain grounded, Santana closed his eyes and trusted his fingers to play the right notes. He even found himself praying, asking God for help to avoid embarrassing himself. Despite the overwhelming sensations and uncertainty, Santana managed to perform one of the most memorable sets in Woodstock's history. His raw energy and undeniable talent shone through, even in the face of such a disorienting experience. The performance at Woodstock changed everything for Santana and his band. Their appearance at the festival, despite being relatively unknown, catapulted them to stardom. Bill Graham had warned Santana that fame would hit hard after the festival, and he was right. Just 2 weeks later, Santana's debut album was released on August 30th, 1969. The timing was perfect, and suddenly, they were no longer just a local band. They were a national sensation. The album quickly gained traction, climbing the charts and solidifying the band's place in music history. The band's debut album was a resounding success, staying on the Billboard 200 for an impressive 108 weeks and peaking at number 4 in November 1969. While the first single, Jingo, only reached number 56 on the charts, it was the song Evil Ways that became their breakout hit. The track climbed to number 9 on the charts and spent 13 weeks in the top rankings. Interestingly, the decision to include Evil Ways on the album came from Bill Graham himself, who encouraged the band to cover Willie Bobo's version of the song. The success of the album brought more than just fame. It also allowed Santana to fulfill a promise he had made to his mother. With his first royalty check, Santana bought her a house, ensuring that it was comfortable and fully equipped with everything she needed, including a brand new refrigerator. This was a significant moment for Santana, a symbol of his hard work and dedication paying off in a way that allowed him to take care of his family. In 1973, as Santana's music career reached its peak, he married Deborah King, the daughter of blues musician Saunders King. Their relationship was more than just a marriage. It was a partnership in both life and business. Deborah played a pivotal role in managing Santana's career and finances, especially during the 1990s, as his success continued to soar. Together, they built a life that balanced both personal and professional achievements, marking an important chapter in Santana's life. Santana's story is one of resilience, passion, and unwavering dedication to his craft. From the streets of San Francisco to the stages of Woodstock, his journey reflects a man who overcame adversity, faced personal struggles, and ultimately became a rock legend. His music continues to resonate with audiences around the world, blending Latin rhythms with blues and rock in a way that remains unique and timeless. Today, as Santana looks back on his incredible career, he not only sees a legendary musician, but a man who fought through his challenges to create a legacy that will live on for generations to come. Carlos Santana's life story is a poignant blend of success, struggle, and eventual redemption. While his marriage to Deborah King was a cornerstone of his personal and professional life, the couple's journey was not without its dark chapters. Together, they had 3 children: Salvador, who pursued a career as a songwriter and band leader, Stella, a singer and songwriter, and Angelica, a writer and film producer. Their marriage, which lasted for 34 years, was much more than a union. It was a business collaboration that played a pivotal role in the success of Santana's career. Deborah worked tirelessly as the vice president and COO of Santana Management, helping the band navigate the complex world of music business. In 1994, they took full control of the Santana Band, a move that solidified their influence in the music world. Their efforts extended beyond music when they founded the MRO Foundation in 1998, which provided support to underprivileged children in various countries, helping improve lives through education and community development. The height of their partnership came in 1999 with the release of Supernatural, an album that became a global sensation, going platinum 15 times and earning Santana an astounding 9 Grammy Awards. The album, with its seamless fusion of Latin rock and pop, helped Carlos Santana break new ground and reach a new generation of fans. Yet, despite this professional success, the couple's marriage was not without its trials. In Deborah's 2005 memoir, Space Between the Stars, she revealed that Carlos had been unfaithful during their marriage. This painful admission, coupled with other issues, led to their divorce in 2007. Carlos, ever honest about his shortcomings, publicly acknowledged his infidelity and expressed deep regret. He apologized to Deborah and their children for the emotional pain he caused, admitting that he was not in the right state of mind at the time. The weight of his actions, coupled with the end of a long marriage, sent him spiraling into a profound personal crisis. During this period, Carlos struggled to make sense of his life and his spiritual journey. His decision to leave his spiritual guide, Sri Chinmoy, in 1982, had set the stage for a tumultuous period of self-doubt and confusion. The divorce further exacerbated this inner turmoil, pushing Carlos to the edge. He reached what he described as the darkest point of his life, feeling as though death might offer him a release from his suffering. He made 7 attempts to end his life, but each time, something inexplicable stopped him. Carlos recounted hearing a soft yet powerful voice during his darkest moments, saying, "I'm sitting next to you. Isn't that enough?" This voice, which he interpreted as a sign of divine presence, guided him through the storm. It was these moments, along with his connection to a picture of Jesus and the act of lighting a candle, that ultimately helped him find his way back from the brink. Carlos's journey of healing took time, and over the years he found solace in simple, everyday moments, things like eating, breathing, and feeling alive again. The emotional wounds of his divorce also reopened the scars from his childhood trauma, where he had been sexually abused at the age of 10 by a family friend. But through his spiritual practice, he found the strength to forgive his abuser, seeing forgiveness not as a burden, but as a way to free himself from the past. This act of liberation marked a turning point in Carlos's life, setting him on a path toward inner peace and reconciliation. While his faith journey was full of ups and downs, it brought him a sense of purpose and comfort. In 1973, his guru had given him the name Deep, which meant the lamplight and eye of God. After leaving the guidance of his guru, Carlos embraced Christianity, finding peace in his new spiritual direction. By 2015, Carlos was so committed to his faith that he openly expressed his desire to become a church minister after retiring from music. He even considered opening a church in Maui, Hawaii, a plan that symbolized his shift from rock star to spiritual leader. Yet, despite the personal challenges, Carlos Santana's career had a remarkable resurgence. In 1999, at the age of 52, Santana made one of the most triumphant comebacks in music history with the release of Supernatural. The album, produced by Clive Davis, marked a major turning point in Santana's career. After nearly 3 decades of musical ups and downs, Santana had not seen a top 10 hit since 1971. But Supernatural changed all of that, becoming one of the biggest albums in the world, selling over 30 million copies globally. Santana's partnership with Clive Davis, who had signed him to Columbia Records back in 1969, paid off in a way that no one could have predicted. The success of Supernatural was not just about the music, it was about a full-circle moment for Santana. The album's success culminated in an unforgettable night at the Grammy Awards in 2000, where Santana won 9 Grammys, tying with Michael Jackson for the most Grammy wins in a single night. The album topped the charts in 11 countries and remained at #1 in the US for an impressive 12 weeks. In a historic achievement, Santana became the first Hispanic artist to win the coveted Grammy for Album of the Year. One of the standout tracks from Supernatural was Smooth, a collaboration with Rob Thomas of Matchbox 20, which became an iconic hit, reaching #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and cementing Santana's place as one of the greatest musicians of his generation. Carlos Santana's rise, fall, and eventual resurgence is a testament to his resilience, dedication, and passion for music. Through personal turmoil, spiritual awakening, and professional triumph, Santana has shown that even the darkest moments can lead to moments of profound transformation. His story is one of redemption and reinvention, reminding us that the path to success is never linear, but often filled with obstacles that ultimately shape who we are. As Santana continues to perform, record, and inspire, his legacy endures, not only as a groundbreaking musician, but as a man who overcame his personal demons to find peace and purpose. Carlos Santana's journey from a humble dishwasher to a rock legend is one of resilience, talent, and an unwavering commitment to his craft. His rise to fame, however, was not without its challenges. The road to success is often a winding one, and for Santana, it nearly didn't happen with one of his most iconic hits. The song Smooth, which became an international sensation, almost didn't make it onto Santana's Supernatural album. Initially, the song started as a rough idea titled Room 17, about a groupie meeting Santana in a hotel room. While the song had potential, Santana was initially uninterested in the track. That was until Pete Ganar, an A&R executive at the time, saw the album's need for a big hit. He pushed for the song, but Santana hesitated. It took a personal message from Clive Davis, the legendary music executive who had signed Santana back in 1969, to convince him to give it a shot. Rob Thomas, the frontman of Matchbox 20 who wrote and performed the song, was living a laid-back life in Manhattan when he got involved with the project. Santana had a specific vision for the track. He wanted the band and Thomas to perform the song together live in the studio, creating a tsunami of positivity. The result? A massive hit. Smooth became not only the last #1 song of the 1990s, but also the first of the 2000s. It stayed atop the Billboard Hot 100 for an astounding 12 weeks, spent 30 weeks in the top 10, and stayed on the chart for 58 weeks in total. The success of Smooth catapulted Santana back into the spotlight, proving that he could still capture the world's attention decades after his first breakthrough at Woodstock. Santana's journey in the music industry has been nothing short of remarkable. In the early 1960s, Carlos Santana moved to San Francisco with little more than a dream and a guitar. He worked as a dishwasher, washing dishes in order to pay his rent, and he played music on the streets of San Francisco to earn tips. These humble beginnings would eventually lead to his fame, but it was Supernatural that really skyrocketed his career. The album went on to sell over $375 million, cementing Santana as a force in the music world. His net worth today is estimated at $120 million, thanks in part to his savvy investments in real estate, including a $6 million home in Las Vegas and a $20.5 million property in Hawaii. Santana has also invested in a chain of Mexican restaurants called Maria Maria, further expanding his business portfolio. Even at 77 years old, Santana shows no signs of slowing down. He continues to perform in Las Vegas at the House of Blues, at the Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino. His residency, An Intimate Evening with Santana, Greatest Hits Live, has been running for 13 years and has been extended through 2025. Santana plays high-energy shows several nights a week, a testament to his enduring passion for music and his loyal fan base. He is one of the rare artists, alongside the Rolling Stones, to have an album in the top 10 in every decade since the 1960s. Part of the proceeds from his shows go to charitable causes, such as the MRO Foundation and the House of Blues Music Forward Foundation, demonstrating his dedication to giving back. However, Santana's life has not been without controversy. In September 2024, the legendary guitarist had to cancel several big shows after he needed urgent surgery for a back issue. He canceled performances in Albuquerque and Phoenix and postponed some shows at the House of Blues in Las Vegas. Despite these challenges, he continued performing earlier in the year, even celebrating the 25th anniversary of his iconic Supernatural album. Santana's ability to still deliver incredible performances despite his health struggles speaks volumes about his resilience and love for his craft. Despite these moments of tension, Santana's career remains one of the most influential in the history of rock music. From the iconic Supernatural album to his ongoing Las Vegas residency, Carlos Santana's legacy is a testament to his resilience, his spiritual journey, and his ability to evolve and adapt to the changing tides of the music industry. Santana's music, transcending genres and generations, continues to inspire, while his personal journey remains as compelling as ever. Santana's life is a story of overcoming adversity, embracing transformation, and remaining dedicated to his craft and his values. Whether it's through his music, his business ventures, or his philanthropic work, Carlos Santana's impact on the world is undeniable. Even now, as he navigates personal challenges and public scrutiny, he continues to play, perform, and live life with the same intensity that earned him a place in the pantheon of musical legends. His story is far from over, and the best may still be yet to come. Carlos Santana's life continues to be shaped by his spirituality and close family ties. However, his public support for Dave Chappelle amid the backlash over The Closer sparked controversy, especially given the broader debate around transgender rights in the U.S. His remarks, made during a sensitive political climate, drew criticism from LGBTQ+ advocacy groups, who warned that influential voices like Santana's could worsen challenges for transgender communities. Despite this, Santana's musical legacy remains strong. His wife, Cindy Blackman Santana, is a standout drummer in his band, and his son Salvador also contributes musically. Their performances, part of the Oneness Tour, highlight the family's creative bond. Looking ahead, Santana will begin a Las Vegas residency in 2025, reaffirming his enduring passion for music as he nears his 78th birthday. Carlos Santana's life has been shaped by a deep spiritual journey, marked by his embrace of Christianity in 1992 and a mystical encounter with the Virgin of Guadalupe that transformed his worldview. Supported by his wife, Cindy Blackman Santana, he lives by 4 pillars: diet, devotion, dedication, and discipline, emphasizing holistic well-being for both body and soul. Santana's spirituality transcends religion, focusing on divine presence and intentional living. Beyond music, he inspires fans to embrace their inner light and promotes hope and courage. Committed to philanthropy, he founded the MRO Foundation to support underprivileged children and actively advocates for civil rights. Despite past controversies, Santana remains an iconic figure in rock, known for evolving while staying true to his beliefs. His legacy is one of resilience, transformation, and enduring influence on music, culture, and humanity.